All right, welcome everybody. I'm lucky enough to have Ryno join me for an interview. You would have been watching the recordings of the League Cup we held in Durbanville on the 25th of June, and that League Cup was won by Ryno playing Raichu Lycanroc. He played the same deck or a similar deck for our nationals held up in Johannesburg the prior weekend, and he played the same deck on Saturday at a league challenge, winning that as well. So, yeah, Reina, just give us an introduction to yourself, who you are, how long you've been playing the game, and a little bit about your performance this year.
Hey, everyone. Well, basically, I've technically been playing since base set. But yeah, as we know how it goes in South Africa, Pokemon's kind of on and off, especially at the start. I mean, it wasn't such a big following at the start, so
Yeah,
I think for at least the first, I think 3 years I played, and then Pokemon just completely disappeared. And, no, that's basically it. And then
yeah.
about 2.5 years ago, got back into it.
What made you come back to the game?
Well, to be honest, I was actually looking for a file for my collection
Yeah,
because I kept collecting cards. And then the one guy said, why don't you go and visit the one shop, which is Battle Ranker?
yeah,
And it's hidden away in the mall. I just never saw it because it's in the basement level.
yeah.
So yeah, I was like David walking into that shop. And then Nigel told me, oh, we've got a league and everything.
All right.
So it was more luck than anything else.
And how's your performance been since you started? I mean, was this kind of the big year for you? I was last year.
Say this is definitely the biggest year to this one. Um, the first year I just started, I was quite new to the game, just built random decks, tried to get certain card synergies, just try and figure out what's going on. So I think I was just orientating myself. I did quite well there. I had a good meta deck choice. So at that stage, 3 years ago, it was quite EX heavy.
Yeah,
So I went with cheap attackers that did insane amounts. I ran New Shedinya, the one that does more damage, 50 damage for each
yeah.
damage count.
I
And
remember that. Yeah,
I actually got top 8. Unfortunately, top 8 match was against Trevenant item lock, so that matchup just went south. Didn't set up. So I got top 8 in my first year, the second
yeah.
year as well. The second year I got top 8 playing what it was.
Volcanion?
But also got top 8.
Oh,
Was it top 8?
it was an Entei, wasn't it? An Entei deck that you
Oh,
played?
yes, it was
Yeah,
Inter, yeah.
I
No, I
think
went with,
I played against you
yeah.
just before Top Cut.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was between the two of us to see
Yeah,
who goes to top cut,
yeah,
unfortunately. But yeah, I played Inter, so that was also quite well. Unfortunately, I got dead drawn on the top 8 second match, and
yeah.
it just completely cost me.
All right.
But this year, top 4, so I definitely say that's improved.
Yeah,
And also, my position in SA on the rankings is top 3, so
yeah.
I can't complain
I
at
think
the
you're
moment.
second at the moment.
Yeah,
Your
at the
points
moment
came
I'm
in and
second.
you're just ahead of me.
Yeah,
Moeen, I think, is like top by
yeah,
quite a way.
he's a bit far. That
Extra special event.
extra special event just
Yeah.
just put him up there.
All right, cool. So yeah, let's talk about Lycanroc Raichu, or I think you played a slightly different version with bats. But yeah, talk about the
Yeah.
deck as a whole.
Which one first? The one
Let's
with
talk about
bats?
yeah, let's talk about Nats.
Well, for Nats, I decided to go for the bats.
Yeah,
The reason for that is actually didn't have much time to optimize. I think I was quite busy getting married now in October.
okay,
So my time was spent elsewhere, so I didn't have much time. Like with Inter, I was working on the deck for 6 weeks before. But this one, I had about 2 weeks. Deck I had properly built until that stage was my Gyarados, which was undefeated up until that point.
yeah.
I don't think I ever lost a match in any tournaments with it.
What made you not to choose not to play that?
The reason for not playing that was there's a million reasons you can give for it, but Spinda, Mew promo, I mean Tapu Koko, I didn't know what I was gonna run into. I
Yeah,
mean, for one card to just completely counter a deck, I mean, you can't go with those odds into a big tournament like that.
Yeah.
Because you can face anything. And the problem was the Decidueye, I think, it was kind of fading towards Nats, but I was still expected to run into one or two, which I actually did run into one. It was my first match at Nats, and I ran into a Decidueye.
Okay.
So it's a good thing I didn't go with that.
Yeah.
But either way, the reason why I went with that's I was looking at Lycanroc because I saw the variant online. It was just too slow. It's set up fast, but just one or two field blowers and just the deck just ran out of steam.
Yeah.
And the nice thing, the reason why I went with Golbats is it was a bit more. What's a word I'm looking for? It was just easier to set up. I mean, I ran 3 level balls at that stage.
Yeah.
So it's great. You can go and search for Raichu and a Golbat. It just opens up the deck a bit more.
And did you play a full 4/4 line of Raichu, or you stick with the 4/3?
I stayed with 4/3.
All right.
But one of the main reasons was I was afraid I was going to run into Gyarados.
Okay.
So that's why the Golbat just came in perfectly.
Yeah.
His attack just spreads 10 damage across the field, and his ability can just place 20 wherever.
Did you manage to? Did you see any Gyarados while you were there?
To be honest, no.
Okay.
I think I'm literally done actually plays Gyarados since then. I actually started playing Gen for rescues. So, I mean, the deck's potential's been for very, very long.
Yeah.
But the main reason why I went to the Raichu Bats was I was looking at the decks as going into Nats. I mean, Dorop Drample was actually quite prevalent at the stage. I think it won 2 in a row just before our Nats.
Daniel Altavita plays it, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I knew I was going to run into it, which I actually did run into one. Gob, 50%, if not more, of the meta is made up of Gob at the current moment.
Yeah.
Or especially at that stage. It's kind of dwindling a bit now, but I think people are learning how to run around it. So those are 2 of the decks I expect. I expected Vikavolt, but the thing is, we didn't have Bully turns at that stage in South Africa, kind of being at the bottom end of the Pokemon stock food chain.
Yeah. We still don't have bulletins. I think they come out tomorrow.
No, we still don't have it, but I mean, it is one of those situations. But straight Vikavolt can still do quite a bit of damage.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting Metagross, to be honest. That's the reason why Bats was mainly my main choice. Because I wasn't expecting that as much, and then there was actually a couple of them at Nats.
Yeah.
I missed all of them by chance, and then in top 4, unfortunately, I played against it. The reason for me not winning that match, I actually won one of the 3 matches, was I decided to not play X-Maniac. I mean, most of the meta decks at that stage wasn't too dependent on abilities.
Yeah.
And just knowing when I saw that deck, I mean, without X, I didn't even stand a chance.
Yeah, I mean, 250 is kind of impossible if you get over. Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is it's not the 250 as much because the take 1 prizes, so you can still do the 2 hits. The problem is as soon as they take a knockout,
it's the healing.
Or if they field blower, you at least commit support to get that drawback. I mean, get your hand back up again to hit the high numbers. And the problem with that was just the situation of, I mean, so you can't Lysander if he retreats and play the other support to get your drawback up. So, I mean, unless you've got a magically perfect hand, I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. All right, cool. So talk to me about the switch over to Lycanroc and what drove you to do that, and obviously you made quite a lot of other changes to the deck to make that work. Yeah.
Well, the first thing I did was I realized, okay, I mean, especially in Cape Town, I know the scene, I've been playing the whole year, so for me it was just, I knew Gyarados is not going to see any play.
Yeah.
No one wants to play it at this current moment. I think 50 to 70% of the people in Cape Town was gob. Yeah. So I know I was going to face that most. So Golbat was less of an issue at that stage, or less of a necessary card. And because of Nats facing the Metagross, I realized, I mean, the meta is going to shift, especially since the winner of Nats was a guy playing Metagross.
Yeah.
So obviously, people need to follow trends and stuff like that. So I knew I was going to run into a couple of those decks, which I actually have run into 2 already. So it was a good call. That's that's one of the main reasons I went with Lycanroc, because of the fact that his ability just offers so much. I mean, you can draw into, which is basically a Lyzan. You can Ultra Ball into a Lyzan. If you need to get something off the bench for the winning game, I run an Uranguru. I mean, all you need is an Ultra Ball or a Trainer's Mail into Ultra Ball.
Or even a Rescue Stretcher to pull it out of the discard, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it just offers so much in this deck. But to sort out the inconsistencies, I actually added in, because if you look at all the online versions, they don't play Puzzle of Time.
Yeah.
And as I said, I realized it sets up fast as with all the heavy Shaman-based decks. The problem was as soon as 2 field blows it, I mean, the deck runs out of steam quickly, and Raichu can't hit that magic 160, 180. So it's already harder with me taking out the bats, but I mean, I added a Kukui, which I didn't have previously.
Okay.
So that was just to close that gap.
And the 3 count on the stretcher, I mean, were you playing similar recovery before, or
Yeah. No, I was sticking with, I had 3 stretcher as well previously with the bats, because I mean, the Puzzle of Time works quite well with the bats. You tend to not discard so many resources to get more Raichu up because you're on level balls. But overall, I ran the same count. Dragonite was actually more key, I found late game.
Yeah.
I tried to build it without it, but as I said, just the steam just runs out.
Yeah, I mean, I watched in, I think it was the first round actually, the final game that you were playing. And you played down the Dragonite. I think you took Lele out of the discard, if I remember correctly. And I think, you know, even that on its own, you know, just being able to pull that out of the discard, fill your bench up, play down the Lele for a supporter, you know, crazy good.
No, it's completely, I mean, it's just so nice. Because I specifically, I think it was in the second match, which you're referring to.
Yeah, that's right, second match.
I just needed to get the bench full, and yeah, I was a bit. But I just needed. I think I was digging for a choice band at that stage and energy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just offers so much. I mean, I think I was field blower just before that.
You were, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, he just pulled up my bench again. So it just offers so much. The Puzzle of Times, a lot of the time you'll see I discard them fairly early in the game, like 1 or 2.
I don't think I ever saw you in that game actually use it like double puzzle once.
No, not in that game, not in the Metagross game. It just never was needed, to be honest. The reason why I run it there is that's like the late game save. The stretches are used, or for some reason there's a Sycamore discards 2 rescue stretches right over there. I mean, that's going to be the late game save. Now a lot of guys can say the Puzzle of Time, put in another stretcher, put in one of other core cards, like maybe
another special charge or something like that.
Another special charge or something. The only problem I have with that is, I mean, Sycamore is it's a great card, but it can still put you in such horrible positions. Whereas Puzzle of Time, it kind of it mends the holes in the deck when they come along. I mean, if you need a stretcher, it's there. If you need another Puzzle of Time, you've got that option. So it just offers a bit more. And the nice thing with Uranguru is I play him specifically there for late game. So unless I draw into him, I don't play him early on, I play him late on. Otherwise, it's just like Xander bait. But the nice thing with that is with Puzzle of Time is if I need one specific card, with just one Puzzle of Time, I set up the perfect, 1 or 2 cards I can get from the top 2. So he offers quite a bit in the deck, especially late game. Like early on, it's fine to discard 1 or 2. I tend to try and keep 2 just for that what if situation.
Especially with the teammates, I think you're able to teammates with a puzzle, that one missing puzzle piece, or even 2 puzzle. he needs to
Well,
be back.
the nice thing with Puzzle of Time is a lot of people don't think about is if you have one in hand, you get to play a teammate, you get to choose 2 of your discard or whatever, and a card from the deck. I mean,
yeah, it's good.
like literally just with that combination,
Whatever
of a
3 cards you need,
bench, I can set up a full 8-card bench.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
so it just offers so much.
And talk to me about the Coca promo. Was that something you played in the BAT list as well, or was that something that you added in for Lycanroc?
No, the reason why Coca promo, I had it for now, but I didn't play it. Because the main reason why Coca promo is to help with the damage calculation.
Yeah.
Because if like you find yourself in a situation where you draw support, so you can't get that Kukui for the 210, because we do have actually quite a couple of Ninetales we played. So I mean, treat the 210 because you can't risk them just switching all the damage back to you or moving it back. It's actually not, but yeah, moving it all back to you. So you need to go for the one in knockbacks, and that's one of the main reasons I go for it, because it offers that highly explosive just knockout potential with a 1 price trade-off. Or the guy has to Lysander and waste a supporter for his turn. I mean, to get the 2 price, to just stick to the price trade.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just never works out. So, but yeah, the Tapu Koko specifically is there for the damage calculation, and obviously, if I run into a Gyarados, just so happens to, which I don't expect to happen.
Yeah.
He is there as a failsafe.
All right. A couple other cards I wanted to pick up in the list. So you play a single Tapu Lele EX. Did you ever feel you needed more? Was 1 enough?
To be honest, I think in some situations I would have loved to have a second one. It's just the list is already running on not little resources. It's running on, I almost want to say it's on a fine line. I mean, if you take out a stretcher, I mean, it's going to cost you at some point. So there's certain cards which is core which you can't remove. I already dropped the Versus Seeker down from 4 to 3 to, I just want to say, just get some of the ratios correct.
Yeah.
And the nice thing with Tapu Lele is you can kind of search me whatever I want at the start. The problem is if you're going against Garb, you can't risk it not being there when you Ultra Ball.
Yeah.
Because you need to get to that Bridget, the one that I'm playing.
Yeah.
So I almost want to say, if I could make any change, specifically, I would maybe try and add another Tapu Lele because it does deal damage for double colorless energy. So it's not a dead card or something that's going to sit there. The problem is removing something. The only thing I can think of is removing one Trainer's Mail.
Yeah.
I mean, then you've got one Trainer's Mail. I mean, the consistency that it's going to add to the deck is almost null and void. So then you can rather, if you're going to put in another Tapu Lele, I'll rather say go with just putting something else in that Trainer's Mail slot.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you.
I
I was going to ask you on the 2 Trainer Mail. I mean, you've got 2 Trainers Mail. I think in the games I watched, didn't always help you. It didn't look like it came in that useful, but it can, in a pinch. But 2 cards that I would have asked around was another Lele, and then also possibly a fan club, because you do play the 3 counter Shaman, so and you play the Dragonite.
I was thinking. The thing is, I was thinking about the fan club as well. Because, I mean, in certain situations, it's fine if you Tapu Lele for a Bridget, but if you don't have any other supporting, you're going to get stuck.
Yeah.
But in cases like that, I mean, if you're in any case in that situation, you might as well just go for a Sycamore or an N and then just go for the Shaman setup. So, Shamans are the dire. So, Pokemon Fan Club, I mean, as I said, if you add another Lele, it opens up a couple of other options. One Trainer's Mail is not going to help you with inconsistency.
Yeah.
They actually are quite clutch because in cases where there's a Urban group, especially from in down to a Trainer's Mail, I can get my hand down. So it gives me an option to look at the top 4. If there's nothing I need, I reshuffle, my hand drops to 1. And with Shaman in the play, I mean, I can just use it, play it, not take anything, just get my hand down.
Yeah.
So it does come, I almost want to say clutch in certain situations, But obviously, just playing to it, not always going to hit what you want it to.
Yeah.
It's the same with Puzzle of Time. A lot of the time, you're going to end up discarding it. But I almost want to say all my games, except for you actually recorded.
Yeah.
The Puzzle of Times actually didn't come in so clutch, but it's because I was able to just get set up quickly.
Yeah.
We struggled getting a field blower, specifically Matthew. I know he plays 2 field blowers,
Yeah.
but
Couldn't get
I
them.
mean,
I mean, there were
the
turns. There were
problem
turns where if he could hit the field blower, I mean, he
Yeah.
could have just shut you down. But he just he just threw pretty badly in that game. I mean, you
Yes.
play one field blower while we're talking about it. I mean, I suppose your recovery options are quite they're quite ability dependent. So you know you're looking at the Dragonite, Oranguru, your Shamans. Did you ever find that you came up against ability lock? So you know, Garb decks where you needed to field blow off a floatstone and just the one count. But I suppose you have the puzzles for recovery.
To be honest, there was one gob game where I got stuck for one turn. I mean, the thing is, they lock you for one turn. As soon as they get a knockout, it activates your teammates. I get 2 puzzles. I take a field blow and something else. I mean,
Yeah.
that's also another of the situations I forgot to mention, but that is where Puzzle of Time was clutch for me a lot of the time. I mean, because the nice thing is, if you've got a kind of dead hand, I almost want to say they field blow at you, they ability lock you, they take a knockout. Your teammates for a Ultra Ball and a field. Your teammates for 2 puzzles, take an Ultra Ball, field blower, get rid of it, just start Shaman setting up. I mean, just cycles really quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one field blower, I mean, Gob is prevalent, but I mean, to still get to that one ability lock. And the nice thing is, I almost want to say, that deck tends to run quite a bit more on Sycamore
Yeah.
than they get to play the end. So if they attach floatstones, which they have, they kind of tend to be forced to when they've got it in hand. If they want to go for extra draw, I mean, it just opens it up. So even before Gob comes, a lot of the time I could get rid of floatstones. But yeah, a lot of your Gob decks run 4. So I mean, if I get rid of 2, there's still 2 in the mix.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, the one I never got stuck longer than one turn with one field blow. And the deck just cycles quickly. If you see a Gob coming, I mean, you can just set yourself up with a Lele into a teammates or something. I mean, there's a lot you can do.
So, I mean, I think that the other one question I have is you play the 2 strong, no sort of basic fighting, just the 2 strong energy. And you play the 1 special charge and the puzzles. I mean, how often did you actually use your Lycanroc to attack?
Well, that's the thing. The Lycanroc I put in for utility with Bloodthirsty Eyes, which it comes in quite handy. But the one good thing the Nats gave me is I saw the Metagross matchup again. So I saw the holes. And one of the problems with I can take a hit, or I can give a hit, knocks it out. But if you max potions twice, I mean, it's kind of game over because you just need to knock out 2 Raichus, and then just start Lysandering Shamans, and it's game over. So the nice thing, I started off by playing Lycanroc without fighting energies, special fighting energies. Problem is, I realized with Metagross in the mix, and it actually has become a bit more prevalent, Metagross tend to start off with a Lele into Bridget, which already makes their bench full with 4 Pokemon. I mean, so if he powers up a Metagross right off the bat, I mean, I'm already hitting for 200 damage with his Dangerous Rogue GX attack. And with Special Fighting Energy and Choice Band, I hit 250, which is the magic number. So I realized the 2 Fighting Energies, or the 2 Strong Energies, just come clutch in that matchup. And I think actually in the second match you recorded, me against Matthew, you could actually see that it just does so much work in that matchup. And the nice thing is, if he struggles to get a Kukui with a Choice Band, just can't get the 200 which he needs to get rid of the Lycanroc.
Yeah, I don't know if he even played a Kukui in his deck. I don't think it was in there. So he never really had it. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, and it gives me the option with the Lycanroc to just take that extra hit, do another 130, possibly more damage. I mean, and then it has to commit another max potion or something. I mean, it just gets rid of resources that's clutch just to try and get the first two prizes.
Yeah.
It's a bit, yeah, it just swings it a bit more in my favor, especially with the Bloodthirsty.
Yeah.
Because it offers a bit. I mean, he can retreat if he doesn't have the max potion in that turn. I mean, if you've got another rock gruff on the bench, it's gone.
All right. So I think we briefly discussed it probably after the game, but I mean, Sudowoodo and that the roadblock ability. I mean, I haven't seen the card teched into a lot of decks lately. Certainly not locally. I mean, I think everyone's kind of slept on it locally. Yeah. But did you see that at Nats at all?
No. That is most probably that's one of the main. I decided Raichu. I mean, the thing with the meta, follow it quite a bit. They look at the most popular decks. Raichu wasn't amongst it. Rayquaza wasn't amongst it. I mean, because of the fact that Sudowoodo. So the thing is, it's all mind games at the end. Because you're looking at it, seeing it's not being prevalent, and people think Sudowoodo's there, so no one would risk playing the deck. So let's just not play Sudowoodo, because no one would be dumb enough to play something that counts on bench space. And that is what I count on. I count on people to make those decisions. And I mean, 80 to 90% of all the meta are relatively correctly.
Yep.
It's just Metagross I didn't see coming, but no one played Sudowoodo. It's one of those things. I mean, so yeah, it's that reverse mind game. They won't play those decks because Sudowoodo's in the mix, so let's just not play. Sudowoodo is one card space, and it worked out for me all of the tournaments thus far. And it's actually quite funny because the South African meta is so diverse, to be honest. I mean, because people tend to play what they can get their hands on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's such a diverse group. I mean...
yeah, it's pretty unlikely that you ever kind of, just play against one deck the whole day.
Yeah.
You can, which makes it difficult. I mean, you can't really ever kind of say, okay, I expect to have 50% of my matches to be Garb matchups, or 50% of my matchups to be Decidueye. You'll probably hit one Garb, one Decidueye, one Volcanion, one Ninetales, one Metagross. You'll see a one of everything. And,
exactly.
And
like I think I didn't see any double decks all the way through to top 4. I just faced different decks all the way through, except.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, there was 2 Garbs, and all the way through. I mean, 7 matches I played on that. I mean, I only saw one deck twice.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even the same version of Garb. One was Drampa, the other one was Espeon.
Yeah, I think the Espeon, to me, feels like a harder matchup in general. The Confusion and the Divide GX, I think those are pretty good game swingers.
Yeah. The thing is, against Raichu, not as much. I mean, if he confuses me, I retreat into another Raichu. The free retreat just helps that matchup so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was actually faced that deck in top 8. I mean, my deck failed me horribly. Not because I couldn't attack, it's just I got dead roll for 10 turns in a row.
Yeah.
And that guy made one mistake, I capitalized on it, and that just gave the game for me.
All right,
so,
cool.
In that sense, I shouldn't have lost that match, but I mean, you count on other people's mistakes if they make it.
We take those, whatever you can get. All right, so I mean, what changes would you make going forward? Do you expect to play the deck a bit more into the new season, or what are you looking forward to in the new season in terms of decks?
Well, I mean, in the new season, I think there's actually quite a bit that's going to rotate after Worlds. So maybe at the start of the new season, this deck is still viable, but after that, I mean, because I predict most probably after Ancient Origins probably going to be the cut. I mean,
for sure.
Unless they cut halfway in breaks,
that's
which
unlikely.
I doubt they'll do.
Yeah, they normally do 3 sets. 4 is unusual, but I mean 3 sets will take us to the breaks and beyond. Yeah.
So they'll most probably stop there.
I think especially if you look at the fact that they just printed a Zoroark GX,
Yeah.
you know, I think that's pretty telling that we're going to keep Breakpoint in. Yeah. What's your thoughts on Zoroark GX along with Darkrai GX and Mallow? You know, that's kind of like a discard Darkrai and Energy, play a Mallow, draw the 2 cards you want, put the Darkrai back, and you're up and running.
I mean, like, a lot of stuff. I mean, what I tend to do is I like to see how the meta. Because, as I said, people follow the meta. And I don't think I have ever played a meta deck. Well, when I say meta deck, I'm referring to tier 1 or tier meta decks. I mean, I don't think I've ever played that at any tournament, because the thing is that tends to be the decks that you expect the most. Most. So I'll see most probably how the meta goes, and then I tend to go with what kind of beats the most competitive decks. As I said, I tend to make a 80% good meta call overall. I mean, the one League Cup where I won with Gyarados, I mean, nothing was over 210, which damage just worked out. Raichu was a good call as well at this very moment. I mean, as I said, Pseudo-Wudo, people with their predictions. I think going forward, I don't know, people might start taking Pseudo-Wudos. I don't even think I'll play it now just before Worlds, because I didn't lose any matches with Gyarados. People actually started taking in Spinners into random decks which you would never see before. So I must probably just see what it takes. Greninja Break is actually still quite a viable deck.
I think it's pretty good.
It's just a bit slow. It's my only concern with that. And I have played regionals with it before, and the thing with Greninja Break is it goes smooth 9 out of 10 games. The 10th game, I mean, you're stuck. You get nothing, you lose the match.
Yeah, I mean, I think from my side, you know, I mean, the issue I have is that a lot of our league challenges are best of one, and you don't actually get a lot of practice in with Greninja, just because, you know, in a best of one tournament, Greninja's going to brick, you know, 50% of the time. It's just not going to perform.
So that's the reason. I was thinking of taking. Just thinking about it now, it was actually a really good call if I took it, but my consistency. I don't like decks that just lose. I have none.
Yeah. And what card would you sort of say is your favorite card in the upcoming set? Next release.
I haven't looked at much. Said Zora Break looks.
The GX,
the GX. No, not the Break. Then we've got that Necrozma. I mean,
looks pretty good.
It could be a game changer. I mean, especially with regards to GX attack. Spreads 100 if I'm mistaken across the board, which is great. I mean, you can do a free Tapu Koko or Spinner just spread 10. I mean, Shaman's are all gone. But it's going to rotate off to World, so the viability of that just getting you 4 prize cards in one turn is going to fall off soon enough. That's a nice card. Then I saw actually, Tapu Fini. It's actually also not too bad. I mean, especially in a meta where there's a lot of rare candy that's floating around. I mean, if you just go for his GX attack, you just return the guy that was evolved the rare candy. I mean, he most probably will get stuck with energies for at least 2 turns.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting season in the next season, and it's going to be really interesting, kind of in that little gap between rotation and the next set coming out. Are you planning on attending Worlds? I mean, you got your invite now.
Yeah, I got my invite. Look, I've got the cash. It's just a bit hard. I mean, now I'm getting married in October.
Yeah.
So there's a bit more other priorities. I mean, so I don't think just spending 20,000 Rand just going to Worlds back.
Could be an early honeymoon.
Yeah, it could be a honeymoon if I swing it that way. I mean, just happen to just disappear for a whole weekend during my honeymoon. So yeah, maybe I can do that. But I would really love to go. If I can get sponsors, maybe. But I'm finding sponsors in South Africa.
it's
It's a bit hard.
it's really tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Believe me, I've been trying. All right, cool. Thanks for the interview and for the deck profile. If you don't mind, I might even play a few games and record them, put that up as a video as well. See how the deck performs, and then yeah, I hope to see you at the next league challenge. I don't think we've got a cup for a while. There's one.
Actually a cup this week.
Yeah, are you attending that one?
But
Yeah.
I'm traveling to Peak for
Okay.
vacation as well.
Yeah, I won't be attending either. So I mean, I've got my points, I've got my invites, so I'd rather
Same, yeah. I mean,
leave it open to everyone else to earn their points.
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, have a good evening. Hey, thanks, man, for the time.
Rob. Thanks for the chat.
Alrighty. Ciao.